This call is now being recorded.
Yeah, good morning to everyone present here, right? So today we'll just have a quick review of what we have done in the last class. So we have seen about the HR analytics framework, right? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. So we'll just move on to the quick review. Okay, we have seen HR analytics framework, and that we have seen LAMP framework, wherein LAMP stands for logic, analytics, measure, and process. We have seen even the diagram of it. So here, logic is nothing but the rational talent strategy, right? So basically, it articulates the connection between talent and strategic success. So it is just seeing the connection between the talent which is there in the organization and the strategy which the organization wants to adapt. How would it be successful? So it brings a connection between talent and strategic success, as well as the principles and conditions that predict individual and organizational behavior. So here it uses a logic wherein it connects the talent and the strategy of the organization. As well, it also predicts the future behavior of the individual and the organization. The logic element of any measurement system provides the story behind the connections between the number and the effects and the outcomes. So here it is creating a story. Okay, it is using the logic. It is creating a story between the talent which is there in the organization, the number of employees which are there in the organization, the behavior of the employees in the organization, and the effect of it on the strategy of the organization which it wants to adapt, as well as the outcomes. So it starts predicting the outcomes. What would be the outcome of it? So here it focuses more on the competitive advantage, the talent pivot points. Okay, so strategy is based on the competitive advantage of the organization, and they have the talent pivot points which describes the skills, knowledge, and ability of the employees in the organization. That is nothing but logic, right? Then we have the next one, that is analytics. Analytics is nothing but um, it uses appropriate tools and techniques to transform data, what you have collected through logic, into rigorous and relevant insights. So it gives more insights about what logic you have trained. Okay, by using few statistical analysis as well as research design, etc. Right. Then apart from that, we have the next one, that is measure. So in right analytics, that is the second point, it goes on asking valid questions. It goes on scrutinizing the data, and it tries to bring in some information, some design out of that particular data by using statistical tools, and it will tell exactly what would be the outcome of implementation of certain things in the organization, right? Then afterwards comes the right measure. Now here in measure, it is nothing but it creates accurate and verified numbers and indices calculated from data systems to serve. So whatever you have calculated in the analytics, that itself is taken. Okay, and very accurate and verified numbers are being considered, and indices is being calculated from data systems to serve as input to the analytics to avoid having garbage in the compromise, even with appropriate and sophisticated analysts. So here what happens is it removes the unwanted data. It only focuses on what data is very much required. It tries to take sufficient data which proves to be a right measure for right calculation into analytics. Okay, so here when we speak about sufficient data, it takes into consideration timely, reliable, and available data on hand, right? Then comes next the process. Okay, so here process is nothing but using the right communication channel through which the timing and technique, right communication channel, the timings and techniques to motivate decision makers to act on the data insights. So here, whatever data insights you have got through measure, through analytics, through logic, everything is put into consideration, and effective knowledge management is being done. So here you try to derive to a decision which motivates the employees as well as the organization, right? Then it also concentrates on values, culture, and influences, right? So that's what we say the LAMP framework: logic, analytics, then measure, then the process. It was connected to a story which I have already spoken about. Yes, okay. So here one particular person loses while strolling in the evening. Okay, he encounters an inebriated person diligently who is searching for something, right? Sidewalk by a street lamp. So that particular person is searching something by a by a street lamp, right? Then afterwards, this particular person asked, "Did you lose something?" Then the other person said, "My car keys." That means he was searching his car keys for an hour. Okay, but still he was not getting his car keys. And the other man who was strolling, he asked, "Are you sure you lost them here?" Then the other man said, "No, I lost them in the dark alley over there." Okay, he had lost them in the dark alley, but he was searching under the street lamp. So that particular person says, "If you have lost your keys under the dark alley, why don't you search over there? Because this is where the light is. So I am searching where the light is." So here, lamp is nothing but there is something in your organization, the talent is there in your organization, strategy is there in your organization, but it is still blank, it is still dark as to what you are going to do. So what you are doing is you are going from the dark area to the area where you have the exact light. That is what lamp says. Okay, so here from logic you come down to process. That means you just screen everything, you scrutinize everything, you again you do not take a decision just based on your perception. You take a decision based on certain calculations where you have 100% output. Okay, where you have 100% results. That is what LAMP framework says. Okay, now moving down to next, HCM 21 framework. Here we have seen HCM 21 framework is basically the human capital management framework. Okay, so it was developed in 21st century, so it is called as HCM 21. Okay, so here it is framework of logic that is used to gather, organize, and interpret data. So here it is the framework of logic, okay, that is used to gather, organize, and interpret data, and subsequently also knowledge for the purpose of assessing the probability of upcoming events. So here you are assessing the probability of upcoming events. What would be the result of the thing, whatever you are doing at present in future. Okay, it also helps basically to overcome a reliance on past data and obsolete experiences, and replaces it with insights regarding the future and the tools for influencing it. So this basically is also called as managing tomorrow today. So you are managing what is going to happen tomorrow today itself. Okay, so here it is most of the part of predictive analytics, basically, if you could see here. So here we have one particular thing, that is scanning. So what you're going to scan here is the human capital, the structural capital, and the relational things in the organization. So basically the external market forces and internal organization factors are listed here, and how these particular factors, that is external market forces and internal organization factors, affect the human capital, the structural and the relational capital in the organization, that is taken into consideration, and the interdependence of these three forms of capital. Okay, how human is dependent on the structure, how structure is dependent on the relation, everything is being considered. So basically this is very critical, often ignored point. Certain times human is taken into consideration, but when it comes to structural and relation, it is most of the times ignored. So it is very important in HCM 21 framework that you scan fully the human capital of your organization, that is the knowledge, skill, ability, present knowledge, skill, ability of your employees, right? And how good they would further grow in their career. Okay, everything is to be calculated properly. Okay, you have to have that data in your hand about the human beings or human resource employed in your organization. You need to have full knowledge about the structures, that is a plant, building, machinery, etc., as well as the relational capital. Okay, the relation between the employer and the employee, employee and the employee, organization and the competitors, organization, and the market force, right? Everything is taken into consideration, right? The relationship between the stakeholders, that is shareholders, the relationship between the employees or the organization and the customers. Okay, all these things are being scanned. So external market forces as well as internal factors of the organization is being scanned and put into these three categories: human, structure, and relation, and interdependence of these three is being scanned. Once you scan everything, then you go for planning, right? So here what you do is you go in for workforce planning, that is reconstituted as capability development. Okay, workforce planning, it is also being seen as capability development. So here what you're going to plan is the present capabilities and the future capabilities of the employees in your organization, the level of employee engagement in your organization, how well you have framed a structure which utilizes the talent of the human resource in your organization, as well as developmental opportunities being given to your employees in the organization. Okay, so developmental opportunities you are giving to your organization, how well you are developing the product, how well you are developing the services, how well you are developing the employees. Okay, everything is taken into consideration. So here you have to plan accordingly. After scanning, you're going to plan. Okay, that is planning. So here the industrial era gap analysis structure focused model is replaced with an agile system focused on building sustainable human capability rather than filling the positions. You are just not filling the positions, but yes, you are trying to build the talented workforce in your organization. Okay, in fact many of those older positions will be restructured or eliminated. So every now and then we keep on changing. So when the market changes, even the company has to change, the employees have to change. So here a lot of changes will be coming in. Okay, so old will be replaced and everything will be restructured and eliminated. Okay, old will be eliminated and new will come into picture. So planning is a continuous process here. Once you plan, then you focus basically on producing. Okay, so here producing what? Human resource services are studied as process with input, throughput, and output. Okay, so statistical analysis is being applied here when it comes to the production. Okay, so statistical analytics, statistical calculations are being applied here to uncover most cost-effective combination of input, throughput, and to drive the desired output. So you try to optimize the resources here. You try to integrate the resources and synchronize in such a way that it is cost-effective and also it achieves the output which you have planned. Okay, so that's what we say produce. And then finally comes predict. Okay, so here 3 points are there. That is predicting about the strategy, operation, and leading indicators. So here a 3-point measurement system is designed to include strategy, operation, and leading indicators. So the causal and correlational aspects of 3 points are used to tell the comprehensive story. So you can predict what would be the outcome in next 2 years, in next 5 years, when we are scanning, planning, and implementing and producing all these things here. Okay, so here also again statistical tools are being used to predict the things, right? So model was developed in 2008 and it was successfully named as Human Capital Management 21, that is 21st century. Okay, so this is brief about HCM 21 as well as the LAMP model. I hope it's clearly understood here, right? So coming down to next talentship framework, my dear students, right? So talentship framework is nothing but the pivot talent pools that are vital targets for HR investment and leader attention. Okay, so here when we speak about the talentship framework, it is the new science, okay, of human capital requires, right? So here a decision framework is taken into consideration, management system integration is being done. Then there is a shared mental model between the employer and the employee. Then data collection, measurement of the data, analysis of the data, and then total focus is on maximum utilization of the resources in hand. That is optimum utilization of the resources in hand. That's what we call as focus on optimization. Okay. Then coming down to next, in several companies, it is being also labeled as talentship, okay, because it focuses on decisions that improve stewardship of hidden and apparent talent of the employees. So here, total focus is on the talent of the employees, identifying the hidden talent of the employees and apparently using those talent into the growth of the organization or achieving the strategy or objectives of the organization. Okay. So here, talentship framework was being built by Birders HC Bridge, provides a value map connecting investments, activities, and business success. Okay, so here the purpose of this particular model is to provide a framework to articulate the logical connections between investment, change in nature, or deployment of workforce talent and sustainable strategic success. So here it is a logical connection. It creates a logical connection between what you are investing in the organization, right? The investments on the plant, machinery, human resource, raw materials, etc., etc., and the change in the nature of the business, as well as deployment of workforce talent, whatever workforce talent you have, how well you have identified it and how well you have deployed the workforce talent, as well as the strategic success. Okay, so a connection is being established between all these factors. That is what we can say is talentship framework. Okay, so framework basically involves three stages, that is impact, effectiveness, and efficiency. Okay, when we speak about efficiency here, it includes input and process. Okay, measures from HCM value chain. Okay, so here it takes into consideration the input and process measures of the HCM value chain. I hope you have already seen what is HCM value chain. I have taken it into the last class, right? Effectiveness, it is equivalent to output in the HCM value chain. Okay, so here efficiency deals with input and process, effectiveness deals with the output. Impact is the equivalent to the impact step in the HRM value chain. What is exact impact of the outcome which has come in? Okay, so that's what we say. The talentship framework deals with these three things. So HCM value chain, my dear students, if you do remember, I've already spoken about HCM value chain. Okay, I think it's in the first module. I'll just go through that at the last. Okay, so coming down to next, my dear students, talentship framework, it is being shown in this particular way here. So if you could see here, these are the anchor points and these are the linking elements: efficiency, effectiveness, and impact. Now, when I say efficiency, what are the HRM value chain which is being considered here as investment and the HR practices. Investment, that is amount invested in the HR practices. Then effectiveness, it speaks about HR practices, human capital, aligned action, and the talent pools which are there. So it shows the effectiveness of the organization. So if you want to calculate the efficiency of the organization, you should understand the investments and the HR practices. If you want to understand the effectiveness of the organization or the HR functions, you need to understand the practices implied by the HR department, the human capacity, right? Aligned actions, what are being taken, talent pool of the organization. If you want to understand the impact factor, then you need to understand the talent pool within the organization, business processes, as well as sustainable strategic advantage which the business has gained. So when you study these elements, you will get the idea of the whatever talentship framework factors what we have. Okay, so HC Bridge framework of talentship is being given here. Efficiency, as I said, the HR practices, the policies and practices, and investments. So here, sustainable strategic access. How can you understand what to acquire and how to allocate? When you have the right decision being taken on what to acquire and how to allocate, you are efficient enough. Your HR department is efficient enough. Then when we speak about effectiveness, how well the departments or the employees cooperate with each other, how well the coordination is there between the internal factors and the external factors of the organization, and what are the different programs which are being implemented to see to it that the cooperation and the motivation level is high. So that speaks about the effectiveness of the HR functions in the organization. Then coming down to the impact factor, how does decision impact and how to use? Okay, so whatever decisions you have taken, how it has impacted the growth of the organization and how you are utilizing the talent which is there within your organization. That's what we can identify or assess whether there is sustainable strategic development. Okay. Then 5 overarching components of an effective analytics framework. So basically, in order to understand good analysis or go through all the steps in the analysis spectrum, analysts are encouraged to use an analytics framework. Okay, so whatever framework we have seen here, it is basically to understand how well the analysis is proved to be successful. So in order to conduct good analysis and go through all the steps in the analysis spectrum, basically we have seen here analysts do use analytics framework. Analytics framework basically are designed to structure and analyze thinking and to help logical thinking in the systematic manner. So basically this framework, what you have seen, HCM 21 or LAMP framework or talent shift framework, whatever we have seen, it is just the framework which is designed to structure the thinking of an analyst, okay, and to help logical thinking in a systematic manner. So everything is based on some logic, some calculations. Okay, that's what we can say here. So in short, analytics framework are models that aim to guide and facilitate sense making and understanding. That means whatever decision you are taking or whatever you are doing in the organization, it makes some sense. That is, it is based on some calculations, it is based on some framework, it is based on a certain logic, then you are doing it, and that's what we can easily make it understandable to the employees also. Okay, so an analytical framework is often presented visually. Okay, so here when we speak about analytics framework, we have theoretical plus conceptual framework. So theoretical framework and the conceptual framework, I hope you all know the difference. Theoretical is based on certain theories and conceptual is based on certain secondary data. Okay, so here secondary data is being reviewed, analysis plan is being made, methodology and tools are being used. That is what we say conceptual framework. Okay, so 5 overarching components here according to Benjamin Lieberman. Analytics framework incorporate such patterns and also provides a checklist of skills, tools and techniques that are necessary for researching a particular area such as business analysis or system architecture. So here what he says is, so here this particular person says analytics framework basically incorporates, okay, certain patterns and also provides certain checklist of skills, tools and techniques. It provides the checklist of that which are necessary for researching a particular area such as business analysis or system architecture. Okay, so here Benjamin Lieberman states that an analytical framework consists of 5 key components that include, what are the 5 key components here? One is an assortment of tools. Okay, second is set of useful solution patterns, then one or more model forms, then multiple research techniques and skills, and methods for grouping complex information. Okay, so here if you could see here the elements and the description. Fine, so please understand my dear students, an assortment of the tool. Okay, then set of useful solution patterns. So assortment tool, that is word processing, modeling software, document version control, all these are different tools which are being assorted, right? And then the second one is set of useful solution patterns. Now when I say patterns, it is nothing but what are different patterns will be there which are useful, that is taken into consideration. So it may be industry specific pattern, business system pattern, business organization structures, all these patterns are being considered. Then one or more model forms. Okay, so here the forms that are organizational chart, that unified modeling language, business case, UML activity, Jackman framework. All these are different frameworks or models which are being considered. Okay, then afterwards comes the techniques. Okay, so observation, interviewing, document study, various research techniques which are being identified. Then comes the skills, that is note taking, active listening, meeting facilitation, okay, team leadership, critical thinking, reasoning by analogy. Okay, all these are different skills which are being described here. Okay, then finally categorizing, that is business process framework, department hierarchy, you just categorize it. Okay, then business use cases, business functional dependency graph. So here you are going to categorize, and whenever that data is required, you are going to utilize that particular data. That's what we say 5 overarching components of effective analytics framework. Okay, till here is it understood? Any doubt, students? Yeah, till here is it understood, or do you have any doubts? Samprita Shetty, please unmute yourself. Samprita Shetty, please unmute yourself. Samprita, are you there? Stephen, please unmute yourself, Stephen. Stephen Iragar, unmute yourself. I want you to reply back. Sia Parab, please unmute yourself, Sia. Sia, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, till
Yes,
here is it understood, the frameworks? Are the frameworks understood?
The screen was not,
Sorry?
the screen was not visible.
I'm not able to hear you, Sia, please. Yeah, please
The
repeat.
screen is not visible, ma'am.
Screen is not
It
visible.
was not visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right, just a minute. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I hope I had last spoken about the LAMP framework in the last class and given a brief about it. Correct? So is the LAMP framework understood? Any doubts in the LAMP framework? Any doubts in the LAMP framework? Is the LAMP framework understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And HCM 21 framework also I have taken in the last class. So here HCM 21 framework also I have told you all what is scan, what is plan, what is produce, and what is predict. Am I right? So is there any problem in understanding these 4 parts here: scan, plan, produce, and predict? I hope I have clearly explained each part. Is there any problem in understanding this HCM 21 model? Sarika Edika, please unmute yourself. Sarika, please unmute yourself. Yeah, Sarika, is there any problem in understanding HCM 21 model, or is it clearly understood? Sarika, are you able to hear me? Yeah, Sarika, are you able to hear me? Vani Poddar,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is HCM 21 model clearly understood? Any doubt here in this model?
No, ma'am.
So everything is clearly understood. LAMP framework, is it clearly understood? Yeah, Vani, LAMP framework, is it clearly understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, talentship framework, is it clearly understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Stephen, are you there, Stephen? I want you to reply back. Stephen Iragar. Okay, talentship framework. See, my dear students, it is very clearly put forth here in the PPTs. I'll be sharing this PPTs also in the group. Okay, so here, my dear students, talentship framework, it speaks about 3 stages, that is efficiency, effectiveness, and impact. When we speak about efficiency, it takes into consideration the investment and the HR practices. When you want to measure the effectiveness, when you want to plan the effectiveness, you have to take HR practices, human capabilities in the organization, aligned action, and talent pool. When you want to understand the impact factor, you need to take 3 things into consideration, elements into consideration, that is talent pool within your organization, business processes of your organization, and strategic advantage what your organization has gained. Okay, so with these 3 things, you can analyze the impact, and with these 4 things, you can analyze the effectiveness, and with these 2 things, you can analyze the efficiency. Okay, so here planning and execution comes into picture. Execution starts from investment, okay, but planning starts from impact. First, you have to plan what impact you want to create in the market. Okay, what impact you want to create in the mind of the employees, what impact of the organization you want to create in the mind of the customers. Based on that impact, you need to understand the effectiveness of your organization, whether your organization is effective enough to achieve this impact or it is not. What you are supposed to do, you need to do proper planning, and then you need to check your efficiency. Okay, then for that you need to have proper investment, proper HR practices, you have to have proper human capabilities, try to build up proper human capabilities and align the entire actions, coordinate with each other, then derive talent pools, and then business processes, and then go for strategic advantage. So here planning and execution comes into picture. That is nothing but talentship framework. Okay, now here we have seen efficiency, it is nothing but what you acquire and how to allocate, which I have already explained. I'll not go in detail again. Effectiveness is cooperation, what programs to implement, and impact is how does decision impact and how to use. My dear students, certain times if the screen is not visible or if I am not audible enough to you all, please unmute yourself and stop me and tell that madam screen is not visible or you are not audible. Maybe I'll be into explanation, I may not very much concentrate on this, right? So please try to unmute yourself and tell me. Do not put it in the chat box. Unmute yourself directly and tell me that screen is not visible or you are not audible. I'll immediately correct it. Clear? Right. Then coming down to overarching components, which we have seen already. Okay, 5 overarching components are assortment of tools, a set of useful solution patterns, one or more model forms which you have seen, and multiple research techniques and methods of grouping complexions, right? So tools, what are the different tools used in business analytics framework in this 5 overarching components of effective? So if you want your analytics framework, LAMP framework or talent framework or HCM 21 framework to be effective, you need to have 5 overarching components properly designed. Now, what are those 5 overarching components? First component is tool, which we have seen here. First one, assortment of tools. Okay. Now, what is that tool which you are using? One is word processing, modeling softwares which you are going to use, and document version control. So these are the different tools which you will be using. I have just noted a few here. Okay. Then second component is you need to have right pattern. Now, what is that pattern? Industry specific pattern, business system patterns, business organization structures. All these are different patterns which you need to have properly. So this is nothing but, see, if you want to build a building, your foundation should be strong. So if you want to have a right framework, you need to have this foundation which should be strong, right? And then you define the model. Okay, so model forms are nothing but as I say, as we have seen here, one or more model forms. So here it may be organization chart, it may be unified modeling language, that is computer software languages into business cases, UML activities, then Jackman framework, all these different frameworks which you need not know, but if you understand, that's enough, right? Then comes techniques, very much important. Observation, interviewing, document study. These are the various techniques. Then comes skill, that is, you need to have these skills if you want to build a proper framework in your organization. One is note taking, you need to be an active listener, you need to have meeting facilitations, you need to have team leaderships, critical thinking, reasoning by analogy. All these skills are required. Then categorization, then you categorize each and every element, that is business process framework, departmental frameworks, business use cases, okay, case by case framework, business functional dependency graphs, okay, all these are the categorizations which are to be done. So when you have all these 5 components perfectly in your organization, then you can build an effective analytics framework. That is what we say 5 overarching components of an effective analytics framework. Okay, so here examples of HR analytics. Okay, first example is Ajinga, where these analytics are being used actually. Ajinga is a recruitment solution company in Greater China which helped Nielsen, a global information and measurement company. Nielsen is a global information and measurement company to refine its hiring processes in the country. So here Ajinga, a recruitment solution company in Greater China, helped Nielsen to bring in better hiring processes in the country. So resumes in China are of notoriously poor quality. So basically they are hard workers, they are not smart workers, right? So here resumes in China are notoriously poor quality, and in the absence of detailed information on the applicants, employers have to simply resort to trawling the best universities for potential recruits. So these graduates are thus in highly marketable positions, with those from universities with lesser standing often left without suitable employment. So here basically this particular recruitment solution would identify that the resumes are of poor quality, and basically to understand that, or to cut down the time spent or the cost spent on scrutinizing the resumes, understanding the candidate and all those things, they went in for recruiting or trawling the best universities for potential recruits. So okay, so Ajinga did this on behalf of Nielsen. Okay, so here basically for that they use a lot of HR analytical tools. Okay, then here Nielsen suspected that there were quality applicants from other universities in China and overseas who would fit in well with the firm's culture, but needed a way to identify and filter them. So Nielsen knew that yes, there are potential candidates from other universities in China and overseas also who would fit to the culture of the organization, but they wanted to identify and filter them. So they brought in Ajinga. So they brought in Ajinga, who helped them in using the analytical tools and to research a bordered audience, while at the same time prioritizing best fit candidate. So they used the analytical tools through which they developed a framework which reached the border audience, okay, which they reached the audience within the organization as well as from the other countries. And then the same which was being identified here, this tool was being put forth in identifying the best fit candidate in the organization. So Ajinga's analytics solution matched Nielsen's organizational culture and specific job requirement to the individual applicant's personality and particular abilities. So this is how HR analytics was used by Ajinga for helping recruitment in the Nielsen company, right? Then Beecher Ashley, that is Beecher Ashley Brown, Ajinga's co-founder and senior vice president, claims that Nielsen saw an immediate improvement from the approach. Okay, so when they used these analytical tools, he identified that Nielsen saw an immediate improvement from the approach. So applicants' volume increased 4 times in comparison with the previous years. So with this analytical use of analytical tools, the applicants' volume increased 4 times in comparison with the previous years. So offer acceptance rate rose from under 70% to over 80%. Okay, so while first year retention, key success metrics for Nielsen went up to 20%. That means people who were recruited stayed for a longer time within the organization. So the retention ratio also went up by 20%. So when we say retention ratio went up by 20%, that means the Ajinga is bringing in the best fit candidate to the organization. The candidates who gel up with the culture of the organization and who stay happy in the organization. And they are also bringing in best fit between the people or the candidate and the job. So here, candidate, job, and candidate organization, all three fit together. Okay, so this is the magic of analytics, what we say, right? Then coming down to next, by 2016, so how Google developed its renowned workforce analytics teamwork. So 2006, Google had 10,000 employees and was expanding at a frenetic pace, doubling in size every year. So despite its appeal as an innovative and exciting place to work, company's interview process was laborious. Okay, so candidates could expect to devote many hours to the process, which sometimes lasted several weeks. So there was a very big, rigorous process of interviews or selecting the candidates and all those things, wherein candidate had to devote a lot of hours in the entire process, which sometimes also lasted with several weeks before starting at the firm. So not only did the lengthy process frustrate the candidates, but it also costed Google employees conducting these interviews. So a lot of time was being spent, a lot of cost was being spent by Google employees also in such a rigorous process, okay, wherein they were spending their precious time, which they could otherwise have spent on their core jobs, focusing on innovation and development. So here what they did is, the company set up an analytics team. So to avoid this particular problem, the company went on for setting up analytics teams to see whether this process could be streamlined properly. So it had to make significant improvements to the collection, storage, and cleanliness of the data, including information about the job applicants, interviewers, interview scores, headcount per category of the employees, attrition rate, and other historical data. So they rebranded, so they took this into consideration, and they developed an analytics team to identify these categories and put forth the right data in that. And they rebranded this particular team as People Analytics Team in 2007. So the team began to investigate other areas such as optimizing compensation practices, nudging employees to engage in healthier behaviors, from eating behavior to saving more time, to saving more for retirement, and advising business clients on the best way to grow and develop their organization. So they went into the quality practices which could be instigated in the organization. Okay. Then Laszlo Bock, that is Senior Vice President of People Operations, commissioned Google People and Innovation Lab, which is also called as PyLab. Okay, so the Senior Vice President, that is Laszlo Bock, that he went in for bringing in the People Innovation Club, Google People and Innovation Lab, which is also called as PyLab, to focus on rigorous social science research, which could serve as the foundation for future HR decisions and practices. So seeing all this, my students, we can understand that the processes of HR has totally changed. Now there is nothing called as traditional HR. Everything is measured. Okay, decisions. HR decisions are based on measures, analysis, calculations, right? Then coming down to next, PyLab, as I said, this is both within Google and beyond. So 41 aided by the relationships with external academics, PyLab employees set aside 25 to 50% of their time to generating ideas and launching research projects to solve the problems. Google is all about innovations. So here the PyLab mission was to bringing in innovation research into consideration and transforming it into the practice. Okay. So almost 25 to 50% of the employees spent time on the PyLab, generated ideas, launched different new research projects, and tried to solve various issues. So one of the PyLab early success was the launch of Project Oxygen, an analytics-based assessment of management at the Google. Okay. Then attrition and retention are major areas of interest for many companies, says Mr. Ferrar, who leads the analytical practice for IBM's Smarter Workforce. So here they use analytics basically to identify the attrition and retention into the organization. So, but analytics is expanding to new areas such as conducting risk analysis of labor relations. How many people would leave within the organization? What would be the behavior of the employees in future? What would be the labor relation or the employer-employee relation, employee-employee relation within the in next 2 years or 3 years? Okay, how can we optimize the compensation? What would be the trends of compensation at present as well as in future in another 2-3 years? Right, social media analysis, okay, as well as recruitment analysis, corporate employee engagement. Okay, all these are different areas which are being taken over by analytics right now. So analytics basically is called as predictive analytics. Now we are speaking about predictive analytics, right? Predicting the future through analytics. Then what are the roadblocks in adoption of HR analytics? As we say, any good process, there will be a lot of blockages, lot of roadblocks, right? So first roadblock here is access to the right skill set who can work with HR analytics tool. Now we have all the softwares, we have all the tools, right? But we have to have the right skill who would utilize and adopt the analytics tool into the organization. If that is lacking, probably you will not be able to predict or analyze the present as well as the future. Then aggressive data cleansing. Too much of data will be there with you. Millions and millions of data will be there with you. How will you cleanse that particular data and identify what data is required to you? Okay, so that skill is very much required. If that skill lacks, it will not be possible for you to get the right analysis, right? Then maintenance of high quality data. You need to have high data quality. You need to have right data in your hand, quality data in your hand. Quantity is not important here, but quality of data is very, very important. If your data itself is wrong, it doesn't consist of any quality, probably your analysis also will be wrong. Then very, very important is data privacy, right? This is one of the hitch, if we could say, in analytics, HR analytics. Privacy of the data, maintaining the privacy of the data is very, very difficult. Okay, so because of this hacking and all those things which are coming in, easily you can identify and get the data from the systems from the organization. So that should be curbed, and you need to have data privacy. So that is one of the roadblock, if you could say. Then data compliance, right? So you have all the data in your hand, but how you will analyze it, which tools you will be using, okay, all those things, like you need to have a legal compliance to be followed for that. Okay, then afterwards, providing the value of reports to the leadership. For implementation, you have analyzed, you have calculated, you have proper data in your hand. How you put forth that and communicate it to the employees within your organization, to the leaders within your organization, so that they can implement it. That becomes a big question mark, right? Identifying the impact of strategies on return on investment. So again, here, how well the strategies which are being framed. Now strategy is framed, and accordingly you have collected the data, you have worked towards it, right? And you have implemented it, everything is right, but still how it is going to improve the return on investment. So here investment is very high when we speak about HR analytics. How well you are going to derive the return on that particular investment is a big question mark. So these are different roadblocks in adoption of HR analytics, right? So this comes to the end of module 2. Any questions, dear students? Tejasvi Jutale. Please unmute yourself, Tejasvi. Yeah, Tejasvi, please unmute yourself. Sushmita, unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah, Sushmita, till here, is it understood, Sushmita? Any questions regarding module 2?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. Yashaswini? Yashaswini Raichur?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is it understood? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Understood.
very good. Okay, so if you have personally, if you do not want to ask any questions on this platform, you can personally message me on my WhatsApp number as to what you have not understand. I will explain you again, no issues about it. Okay, but HR analytics is a subject which you need to attend the classes continuously, or else it will not be possible for you to understand what exactly it is, right? So we'll start with the module 3 in the next class. I hope you all are writing the assignments, the groups which are being assigned for module 1 and module 2 assignment. I hope you are writing. Okay. The question papers, start writing the question papers. Take the question papers, module 1, module 2, whatever are there. And questions probably in another 2 or 3 days, I'll be sharing the questions of module 1 and module 2. You can start writing the assignments, right? Meanwhile, module 1 and module 2, the group who are assigned to present the PPT, keep your PPTs ready. Is it clear? Right. Thank you very much for your patience hearing. We'll end the class. In the next class, we'll start with the third module. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, good morning.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning. Who is this?
Ma'am, Bharat.
Yeah, Bharat, tell me.
Ma'am, can you just send the notes up to modules no, ma'am?
Notes, huh? Yeah, I'll be sharing it on the group. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, right, Bharat. Thank you very much, Bharat. Yeah.
Ma'am, even for first ISA, 1 and 2 units are there, no, ma'am?
Yes, only 2 units will be there for the first time.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay? Yeah, yeah.